Bam! Wagwan fam. I was going to do some sign language, but then as I started to perform sign language, I remembered I forgot all my sign language from BSL1. I did it a couple of years ago and it went fine. I knew the I know the letters. So yeah, is A to Z in the alphabet. So A, B. So yeah, I'll try and do so you can see it. B, C, D, E, F, G, H. This is British, by the way. You know what I mean, chat. We're doing it for the British people out there. You know what I'm saying? H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. Wait there, no. Q, R. What's S? What's S? I forgot S. I fucked it. I fucked it. Anyway, chat, welcome back to JRTV. Welcome back to a video that I'm looking forward to it, to be honest, because I kind of find YouTube stuff quite entertaining, and I feel like it's exciting when everyone's getting involved, and I like the way that FSG is being talked about more. Now, I don't think it should cause divide. I don't think that the FSG thing should cause divide. And I want to give people a few minutes to get into the stream so they can watch the duration, because there's going to be a few clips of reacting to. There's YouTubers beefing between each other. I'm not involved. Well, actually, I'm not involved, but people who I'm cool with are involved. Therefore, I'm happy to talk about it to get to the bottom line of it. And I don't know, just sort of try and grasp an idea on what I would think. Not that James Redmond's opinion matters, but what I would think would be the best way to approach a discussion between an FSG inner and an FSG outer, and just greater conversation in life. Because, I don't know, we're in an age where people don't like talking to each other, and it's half pathetic because people want to align with their agenda. Because everyone's got an agenda. It might be a good agenda, a bad agenda, a truthful agenda, or a insincere agenda. But everyone's got one. That's why it's important to get down to the nitty-gritty on how we exchange agendas with each other, and then also exchange whether or not we disagree. Right? And we need to learn how to agree to disagree. That's important. So today's show is going to be based on FSG as a whole, but not me just giving you my opinions. If you've been seeing things, then you'll know that Paul Machin has caused up a huge rift on Twitter. Paul's my guy. We have opposing views on FSG from what I believe, and we're going to establish that more throughout the stream. There's also alternative things like, today there was something on Twitter with other content creators, ones who I'm not intending to name names, but I will add context of what's happened throughout the day. I do think this will be an interesting stream. I think it'll be good to share it with you all, because it's all on Twitter anyway, so I'm not exposing no information. It's all just happening. It's going down. So before we get into it, smash those likes, leave a subscribe, let me know your opinions on it all, and big up to everyone in the chat, mate. You know what I mean? Big up yourselves. Scouser Doyle, your agenda should be what's best for LFC. And this is the thing. Kind of like, it's funny because this would have been one of my concluding points after the video, that we all need to look at it as we're not enemies. We might disagree on the approach to get to the best, but let's agree that we want the best for the team, that we want the best for the club, because that should be what a fan wants, isn't it? So, no, do you know what? A W super chat right there. I'm not even going to lie to you. Big up to Devet. Don't agree with Paul at all. I saw some people were going on about his kids. That's not on at all, right? And we will give more context to this throughout the stream as well. I'm just going to say hello to a couple, and then I want to react to a video. And then throughout the stream, I'm going to respond to Paul's tweets today too. James, I've had thoughts. Sorry to dive straight into the questions. Massive fan of yours personally. I think FSG will get Lavia on deadline day and make the excuses running out of time. Yeah, the same way that they made us think we were linked with Jude Bellingham to try and make us think we have money. or let's not get the notion that we're skint, but just, the money available is probably what I should say. The Paul Machin hate has gone too far. It's pathetic. So there's a group of people here. So I feel like the tweet will be the first thing that I would need to pull up. I think that's what you guys would be most interested in. So here's the sequences of events, right? We know that there's a portion of the fan base that are not happy with FSG, and the frustrations, especially over this window, has grew massively. Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville and all these pundits have come out and spoke about FSG and at least put a light on the situation, which is huge, because James can talk about it all he wants, but James has got no credibility. I agree with that. That's not me being sensitive in any way. I agree. James Redmond's opinion doesn't really matter when it comes to an FSG in or out, because I'm a YouTuber, right? But there's people who are here doing forms of protests, for instance. You'll know that there's people who get involved with flying planes over the stadium. There is people, maybe not enough, and maybe not successfully, but there is people who try and form, I've got something on me out there, who try and form protests outside the stadium. That's one group. Then the other group, the opposing side, is the ones who feel these guys go a little bit too far. The owners might not be perfect, but they are good enough. And these are the ones who are probably more fearful of change. They're happy with what they've got. So really the difference is a standard difference. These fans feel like the standard should be here, whereas these fans, even though we're in the Europa League, we could get back into the Champions League occasionally, and they're fine with being that club. And then you've got fans like me who will go beyond what you see on the pitch, and then I'll talk about the behind-the-scenes stuff. But Paul Machin has an opposing view. From what I know, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul Machin's very much FSG in. As you guys know, I've worked with Paul before. I've got no ill will going into this. I'm on the side of truth. I'm on the side of balance, right? And no one is technically right or wrong when it comes to the FSG stuff. But there was a tweet that Paul put out earlier. In fact, I retweeted it. So let me just go on my Twitter. I'll share the screen with you in a second as well. Don't you worry. I'm just trying to find all the bits and bobs that I'll need to go through the video. Smash a like as well, guys. What we're going to do, we're just going to share that screen real quick. Massive love to everybody who's decided to tune in and dedicate the night to JR TV. There's plenty of things you could be watching, but you've decided to devote your time here. Let me know if you can see that fine, chat. Paul Machin put out a thread of tweets. The first one saying, apparently there are people talking about my kids on the internet because I don't have the same opinion as them on Liverpool. Right? Now, before we even establish what Paul's position is on FSG, before we get into this, because I've got more clips to show you, I'm not going to quote Paul myself. I will let you see the quotes for yourself. Before we do, and I'll say this very briefly, that is not on. Anyone who's on Twitter twiddling the thumbs, talking about someone's kids, that's not on. I don't know what's being mentioned about his kids. I also don't know who spoke about his kids. Whoever it is, don't be so insecure and stop allowing YouTubers to live in your head rent-free and simply respect that somebody disagrees with you, okay? That's the first thing I want to establish, because I think we can all simultaneously agree, chat, that that's not on, right? So that was the first thing that I wanted to get quite clear. So what I want to do now, I want to get a clip up of Paul the other day, and then I want to show you a clip of Paul from the overlap. Now, let me just, the reason why I'm on, right, let me just find this. Bear with me for one incy-wincy second, please, chat. That'd be great. Just because I am just trying to find this clip of Paulinho. Where the fudge? Right. Okay. Boom. Right. Let me share this screen for you guys. So this was a stream the other day of Paul talking about his opinions on FSG, because the context behind it is he received a comment. So like the way you guys send me in super chats, he's responding to a comment that's asking him about the topic of FSG. This is in their studio. Let's have a look.
Again, and this gaslighting thing, you can use that both ways. I could use people who are like staunchly FSG out, the people who've made FSG out their personality. You know the types, you see them all over the internet. The ones who sit on spaces all day and have got nothing better to do than to talk about it. That over and over and over again. They are not it's like they're not fans of Liverpool Football Club. Their biggest talking was just talking about the ownership, which just feels like a huge waste of energy to me anyway. But the gaslighting thing goes both ways. I see gaslighting happening from people who have got these like borderline conspiracy theorists on it, where they can't possibly see the good. Every good thing that organisation has done for the club gets totally thrown out the window because it's ultimately damaging to the point that they start to find ways to undercut it. And I've seen it all the time. It's like people who blame me or say that I'm somehow in the owner's pockets, which is mad. That's gaslighting.
Before I even carry on, by the way, chat, we do have to establish they're not in FSG's payroll. Okay, can we just get this clear now? And what I appreciate is people who disagree with Paul that I know that I work with don't accuse Paul of this, which would be wrong. Actually, it could be a defamation of character if it's not true. It is massively reputational damage if people accuse him of taking money off the club, even though that's not the case. Now, yes, could there be an incentive for Paul to get more interviews with the manager or to be able to do the Jordan Henderson documentaries if he's a little bit more reserved? Possibly. But I don't think that's why. I think Redmen TV are as close out of all the fan channels. I'm not as professional as these guys. These guys do a studio. You see the work that goes on behind the scenes. They're professional. They get proper journalists and all these things. They're probably more in the space and closer to television on YouTube, right? That's not a dig at them, by the way. That's just probably my assessment. Me, I don't really suit to be on television. These guys, these seem like they've got their own network. Does that make sense? So it's important to realize that they don't take money off FSG, right? That's not me defending Paul. Like I said, I am on the side of truth. And I don't even mind Paul. But that's why I want to be honest here. And let me know if my Wi-Fi is okay, because it is saying that it's a little bit mangled. So before I replay the clip, before I continue the clip, let me know if the Wi-Fi is all good, chat. Just give me a bunch of yeses and nos. And as long as we're Gucci, then, and you can hear me in the video, that's fine.
Done.
So this is a new clip. That the reason why it's skipped there is because it's a new clip now and a separate question to the one before.
Onion, time to get a plane up with FSG out, banner at home game. Don't do that, because it's the most fucking cringeworthy thing in all of football. And I've seen Robert Lewandowski's TikToks, and there's Robert Lewandowski's TikToks, and then there's playing banners at football matches in terms of pure cringe level. Get the ground. If you said this before, we want to protest, get the ground, get together with other people and force it. That's how the calculated campaign. It takes more than just go away, please. Hashtags and plain banners are just this horrendous modern affliction. And I know there's people from all over the world who feel disenfranchised because you can't get over to it and all that.
The gist that he's saying is that he disagrees. He thinks it's cringy if people used a form of flying a plane over a stadium with a banner on it saying FSG out. He believes that's cringy, right? Let me just remind myself of his point prior to that.
Let's get the ground, get together with other people.
So he's saying get the ground. That's his preference on how he would want people to protest.
Banners at football matches in terms of pure.
So what he's saying there is basically that he disagrees with the idea of banners. There was another point that he mentioned. Let me just play that one more time, chat.
Get the ground. If you said this before, we want to protest, get the ground, get together with other people.
What I like and I appreciate that's the point I wanted to raise. I remember now. So that's the first clip. That's done out the way. What I appreciate from Paul, he's not saying his opinions above anyone, and he's not saying you don't have a right to protest. So let's get that established. I've got no problems with that clip. I think that clip is fine. Now, who's a person that I know, chat, who's getting involved with flying planes over stadiums? I don't get involved in it, but I know people who do. Now, Usama is one of them, and I'm fine to say that out loud because Usama has made it vocal. He backs these movements. He supports getting different forms of protests against the owners, which I respect, and you should too, because it's easy for me and you to say FSG out, and then it's another thing to do something about it. And people who do things, these forms of protest, because flying a plane over a stadium is one form. Another form is getting outside, like what Paul said, and going and marching onto the stadium, right? So what's happened here is Paul has came out. He's mentioned at the start of the video that there's people who make FSG out their whole personality. Is he talking about Hamez? Nah, he's not. I'm not that big of a deal. There's plenty of YouTubers who don't like FSG. I don't think we intend to make it our personality of those who are FSG out, which is what Paul was implying at the start. If you don't remember, let me just remind you. Just so you know, I'm not misquoting him.
Both ways. I could use people who are like staunchly FSG out. The people who've made FSG out their personality. You know the types. You see them all over the internet. The only one.
So yeah, he's referencing YouTubers. He's referencing people who are FSG out. He could be talking about anybody. So I'm not going to assume he's talking about me. Some people have assumed that he's talking about them. Now, where I'll give Paul at least some leeway, I don't know if I don't think you can decide who he's talking about here, whether he's talking about Usama, whether he's talking about me, whether he's talking about Anfield's agenda, whether he's talking about anybody who's anti-FSG. He might be talking about all of us, but he hasn't made that clear. Now, Usama, because it was a clip involved of two separate clips, and there were questions from the audience, he never just brought this up by himself, and he never mentions anyone by name. Usama thought that Paul was calling out himself. Right, and we're going to go back to the tweet that we saw earlier. This is Usama's response. Wait there. Let me just share the screen for you. This is Husam's response to that clip, because Husam is FSG out, and he knows that Paul Machin is somebody who opposes his movement, and Husam basically wanted to explain here why it's productive and why he has the views that he does, as he is technically one of the YouTubers that Paul is talking about. Even if Paul weren't talking about him, the description matches Husam. You know what I mean?
It's yet another time where myself and others
Isn't he funny, chat? He looks like he's in a courtroom, doesn't he?
are getting called out by Redmond TV, specifically Mr. Paul Machin. It's in the reply to this tweet, the video that I'm responding to right now. I mean, you called FSG out our personality trait. All I have to say back to you, Paul, is FSG in is your personality trait. You made it your personality trait to just be positive all the time, regardless of what's happening. So you win the gold medal in Positivity Olympics. You're in first place with a world record. So congratulations to you, Paul. I hope you celebrate that medal real well. Second of all, you said the planes were really cringy, more cringy than Robert Lewandowski's TikToks. First of all, the plane is only a form of protest, at least a way of us showing that we're not happy with the way the club's being run right now. And I know so many locals, non-locals, people from England, people from outside England who are supportive of the planes, because it's at least a form of protest to show FSG that we're not happy with the way they're doing things. And you know what? Let me agree with you. Let me say the plane protests are cringy, Paul. You own the biggest Liverpool Football Club channel. Why don't you organize a protest? Why don't you organize something where we show FSG that we're not happy with us going into the first game of the season without a DM, without a centre-back that Klopp himself has said he wanted to sign? Why don't you organize a protest? Yes, the planes are cringy, no problem. Go ahead, organize a protest. Then you say you were part of the protest against the sacking of Rafa Benitez. Go ahead, organize another one then. And then we won't have to fly planes over Anfield. But instead, you want to play Positivity Olympics and win gold medals in positivity because you have no objectivity about this club whatsoever. It's time to call these owners out, Paul. It's time to call out these owners. Klopp has told you he wants players, he wants a DM, he wants a centre-back. Where are they, Paul?
Now, listen, Husam never done nothing wrong there. He never said nothing wrong. He never accused Paul of anything. And Paul never even directly called out Husam. But the description that Paul gave matches Husam, and in some ways it matches me. But obviously, because there was a clip talking about planes and Husam is directly involved in these things, and he supports it, and he wants people to know about it, then, you know, he's just responding to that clip of Paul. So the first clip I played of Paul, Husam responded to this, and what the conclusion was is Husam has just gave his opinion, an objective opinion, which he deserves to have as a consumer of the football club. If you are investing money into a business and they are not delivering on a product, you have a right to not support, to support that business, but to be upset if they're not running things properly. That's important, chat. It's important that us as the consumer know we have a right to an opinion. Anyone has a right to an opinion, especially the consumer. So I've got nothing wrong with what Husam said there. I don't have too much wrong with what Paul said in his video. Besides the fact I disagree, I think the approach from both was fine. You can see it's a little bit heated. You can see it's a bit argumentative, and you can see they heavily disagree. But no personal shots was fired. Nobody lied about one another, which I think is very, very productive. Now, the final part, which this is where I got involved a little bit, and this kind of peeved me off to some degree, chat, because I just don't like liars. You know, chat, do you know if I can be remembered for anything when I die? I hope I can be remembered for being honest. Am I 100% honest every second of my life? Absolutely not. But can I hope, if you are all asked, what do you think about James? Besides the fact he's a twat, he was honest. He was an honest twat. Now, what I want to do is share the screen with you, because I put a tweet out earlier, retweeting Paul's tweet. So let me just share that screen. Let me put it on the one that it was before. Smash those likes as well, by the way, chat. We've got a lot of people in this stream right now. It's looking like a big one. Where's the big one? Is it this one? This one, fam. This one. It's great to see so many people constantly tuning back into the streams. Now, in responses to Paul's tweet about people mentioning his kids, which is really bad, and I would not put it past Twitter to say stuff about, to go as far as that just because you disagree on an opinion. So I got a little bit emotional. I put, people are pathetic. How dare you make football more than what it has to be? Attacking a man's kids is just very sad. Fuck your insecurities. Get a life and stop allowing YouTubers to live in your head rent free. Learn to agree to disagree. Machin is a legend of the game. Now, I agree with everything that I said in this tweet. Whether you like Paul, whether you don't like Paul, he paved the way for many people in this industry. He paved the way for people like me. He provided people like me opportunity and platform to be sitting here in front of you right now as James Redmond TV, opposed to just James Redmond who goes the game. So that's cool, and I'll always appreciate Paul for that. I do massively disagree with his FSG point of views, massively. I wish he would use his platform to speak about it more. If he doesn't feel like it's necessary, then I'm not going to force him, because he should not be forced. He should only have the right to have that opinion. Now, there was two YouTubers, I'm not going to mention their names. There was two content creators who responded to this tweet. Two content creators that I am very, very fine with. The tweets have since been deleted, which I'm happy about. I think that's good. But the tweets was implying, the first tweet responded, or that was sent to me, was, James, you work with people who was doing these things. Now, remember what my tweet implied there, chat? Those who are attacking the man's kids verbally online is not right. That is not good. You don't achieve nothing there. And quite frankly, you're a sad sack. Someone responded, a content creator responded saying, well, you work with people who do these things, implying Usama. And I didn't appreciate this, because Usama has never done this. He opposes Paul's views. He calls out Paul on Twitter, but none of it was personal, and none of it was attacking him. He didn't even accuse him of being on the payroll like many people on Twitter do, and I respect that about Usama. He might seem a little bit over-emotional and all these things, you know what I mean? And I'm cool with all these dudes. I've worked with Paul, and I've never fell out with Paul. The guys that I'm talking about right now, the two guys that I'm talking about who was involved in these tweets, I'm talking about these two as well. These are my guys. Anytime I've met them, it's nothing but love. It's nothing but respect. The second they sent these tweets, I made sure that I called them up, because I'm not going to do these back and forths on Twitter. I'm going to call you up and I'm going to say, listen, what's this bullshit? We came to a common ground that they had mispresumed, they'd misunderstood. Usama opposes Paul, but he does not do anything to threaten Paul or anything disrespectful or anything over the board or over the line. In fact, he only calls out Paul's points, which is important. Okay, so the conclusion there is we got to the bottom of it, but I hate assumptions and I hate things like this, and that was my involvement in the whole thing. So I am not on anybody's side. I don't like it when people are accusing Usama of stuff. I don't like that. Usama's my guy. He's no more my guy than anyone else, but he's my guy. And for that reason, I am on the side of making sure that his position on this isn't misperceived as toxic or wrong or anything. Usama has a strong opinion and he's willing to take action. He's willing to take action. Everyone was happy saying FSG out after the Super League. Everybody. Usama's remained strong. Some people don't remain strong. Some people don't like it. So I love Usama for that. He's honest and he's not disrespectful. He might say some things in a debate that might go too far, but he's never going to attack you personally or anything like this. Now, there's two more clips that I'd like to show you. Might be one. No, yeah, two more. So I wanna get Gary Neville's response, because if you saw on the overlap, Gary Neville talked about FSG, and it's not that we hold Gary Neville's knowledge into expertise, but I really found this encouraging that he was speaking about it. Paul was in this clip, which is also important to notice. Let me just get that there. I'm really hoping this doesn't demonetize the stream. But well if it does. Well if it bloody does, mate. What I'll do, I'll play this one on a bit of a smaller screen to decrease the likelihood of copyright. I don't know if that's how it works. This is Gary Neville talking about FSG.
I've said this, and it is coming this moment. The last 2 years, Chelsea have spent huge. Arsenal have spent huge. United have spent huge. City, to be fair, are City. And I think it's caught them out. It's caught the owners out. They haven't got the money to be able to compete. I think it's shocked them, the market. You know, the Bellingham deal, 100-odd million, Rice, 100-odd million, Fernandes, 100 million, Casido, 100 million. I think they're at that 50, 60 and they're comfortable there. But
it could have been a coincidence, chat, right? And you guys know I have respect for Paul. That facial expression, where is it? Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, have I missed it? I might have went past it. Let me just rewind it back.
Huge. United have spent huge. City, to be fair, a City, and I think it's caught them out. It's caught the owners out. They haven't got the money to be able to compete. I think it's shocked them the market. You know, the Bellingham deal, 100 million, Rice, 100 million. Fernandes,
Like just that timing's not good. You know,
there's
what I
100
mean?
million.
That's funny,
Casino,
though.
100 million. I think they're at that 50, 60 and they're comfortable there. But I think they're at that point whereby they've hit the ceiling at a lower level than the other 4 or 5 clubs are at. And it's going to come and hit them like a ton of bricks at some point, because the manager at some point is going to wake up in the morning and go, because he's shielding them, there's no doubt. He's doing an unbelievable job. He's done the best job of anybody, I believe, in the last 7 or 8 years with the budget that he's had and the spend that he's had. But he can't keep doing it.
That's right.
He can't keep doing it. He needs that money to be able to compete. They should just be going getting Casado now for him and saying, right, there you go, that's dealt with and sorted. It's 100 million. But they're not. They're trying to pinch someone off Southampton for 40 million quid, who's a good player. Don't get me wrong. But that's Jurgen Klopp needs the real deal. Because if you're talking about what you were talking about before about challenging Manchester City, they can't do it with a player that's got potential. They need to do it with a player that's real. And I do think it's going to come back on the owners at some point. I know they're building the stadium and they had to do that because the Anfield had fallen so far behind. So they left with no choice.
So yeah, I agree with what Gary Neville said there. There was also comments that Paul made, essentially just making defences on FSG. Basically just saying, not FSG out, but the basics that you know, everybody needs to... FSG need to actually go out there and spend more money, which is what everybody agrees with, right? So we've got 600 people in the stream. Please do smash those likes. I am going to get into the super chats in a second as well. I want to shout out to Shane who sent a super chat. But that's the conclusion. So chat, let me know your opinions and let's delve into it a little bit more, because I think Gary Neville's bang on there as well. Before I carry on, let me just shout out to Shane. He says, wow, I've gone out for one day and all hell breaks loose. It's wild, brother. It's wild. And I don't like this chat. I'm not into it when I'm seeing big platforms and people who are my friends going at each other over an ownership. It should not be that way. It should be agree to disagree, and that's where it ends. It's football. It's not that serious, but we treat it like politics. We treat it like as if it's something bigger than what it actually is. But at the same time, we do care about the success of the football club. We have a lot of love for our team. And if we feel our team is not being supported or backed in the best way, then we have a right to call out them people who are controlling and making those decisions. I thought Gary Neville was bang on. Klopp has done mega things to protect FSG, but that's one way to put it. Another way to put it is that Klopp, there's nothing productive that comes out if Klopp goes anti-owners. That only causes short-term problems and long-term problems, because irregardless, if we do this big, massive wake-up call for FSG, FSG have got plans anyway. They've got investments that they're making outside of football. There's a reason why we haven't gone exponentially, like the way other teams do. Gary Neville mentions it. Arsenal, Chelsea, United, City. These teams spend significantly more than what we do, and we're supposed to be top 2 biggest teams in the country, at least. We're supposed to be top 2 biggest teams in the country, yet we don't even compete with Aston Villa. Yet we don't even compete. I think there's 17 teams or 18 teams in the Premier League that have made more signings than Liverpool FC this transfer window. 17 teams. That's what I know. Could be 18 now. I'm not too sure. That stat was seen the other week. So it's not about the volume, but they made you believe we could get you Bellingham. They have now sold Henderson and Fabinho. And we've ended up with Szoboszlai and McAllister, but nothing else. And we're being stingy over Lavia, which is only an additional 4 million, creating risk for other people to come in and get him. And it's only now that people are questioning this ownership. After we won the Champions League, I was anti-FSG. Not for the fact that FSG... I was on Redmen TV at that point, and I did not like FSG. When we won the Premier League, I wanted them out. When they created Super League, I wanted them gone. It didn't change. Come on, chat. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't change for me. So that's not me. I just want you guys to know that I'm consistent. I don't want respect for it or anything like that. I just want you guys to know I'm consistent. So I thought it was really interesting to see that this ownership is now causing a huge divide amongst Liverpool YouTubers, which is bullshit. Because Liverpool, one thing I always said before is that Liverpool community on YouTube is strong. It's nice. It's powerful. Everyone's harmonious. Everyone gets along. Not the case at the moment. And that's what a bad ownership can cause. Causes divide in the fan base. Everyone's sad. No one's enjoying the product the same because the ownership aren't putting the maximum efforts into improving the football club, and that's an issue. We all support the same club at the end of the day. People slandering Paul and saying he's pro-FSG is just a lie. Seeing him slating them loads. He's been constructive on them loads. I think people maybe go against him when he says he's FSG in. And I'm not too sure if he's FSG in or out. That's one position I want to establish. But Paul hasn't done anything wrong. Usama didn't do anything wrong. They both disagreed, and that's fine. Let's leave it there. Let's not attack anyone's kids. Let's not accuse Usama of being one of those people. And let's not verbally abuse people online. I think that's bullshit, you know what I mean? And when I say attack kids, I mean, like, Paul made the claim that people spoke about his kids on Twitter, which is obviously not on at all and completely disgraceful. Let me read a few more of your comments. Kenny G, big up to you, sir. James, it's ridiculous. 5 million more and 3 failed bids. We cannot pay 5 million to get a player. What a joke. James Redmond is hot. Paul is wrong in my opinion, and many others' opinion, but that doesn't mean they deserve hate in personal life. People need to learn that everyone doesn't think the same. That's right. That's right. And even if Paul does have his personal incentives with the club, even if he does, which I'm not saying he does, I'm saying if he does, which is what people accuse him of, then that's still not enough to say, let's go and talk about the man's kid. Let's just be a bit more civil than that, you know what I mean? We're in big 2023. Let's be mature adults. Shout out to Willem. Klopp is not the problem. Look at his interview this year with Virgil van Dijk. They are leaving clear hints that they want and demand more signings. Exactly. I don't know what more fan bases want. People keep saying about FSG, this, that, and the other. Klopp isn't doing enough to call out FSG. And then I'll respond saying, well, what's him coming out and saying he needs players? What's the statement made when the club captain is coming out and saying we need players? He said it at the start of the window and he said it again recently. Canate's came out and said we need it. Everyone in the nan. Jordan Henderson, before he fucking left, said we needed to get new players. What more of a hint? What more of a call out to the owners that you need? What more of a cry of help can Jurgen Klopp reach? Is that a W or an L chat? Because I don't understand. I don't understand when people sit there and say Klopp needs to do more. What more does a manager need to do than say I need signings? I think that's fine. And I think before Klopp would lie for the owners, I think he'd say, I don't need midfielders. But then 2 weeks later, he's getting Arthur. I think he wanted to keep it peaceful at the football club. I think Klopp had a method to the madness that him and the team or him and the owners are on one page, because then now we can at least be more productive in discussions. Because if Klopp came out and was always against FSG, do you think they're going to give him what he wants? They're not going to trust him. Klopp isn't that type of dude who's looking to cause shit either. Klopp is there to do the best job that he possibly can. It's the same way of anything. It's like you can still like your owners as people. You can still have respect for John W. Henry as a person. He might be sound, which is maybe why he doesn't want to come on the front line and slander his mate. Maybe. But at the same time, he's coming out and saying the things that he needs. And when we've seen that he's being given the resources, you'll see the prosperous results that Jurgen Klopp can create. So I agree there. I think that's a great comment. I think more people need to be open to that. I've seen him slaying them Jono for sure. If there's some definitive clip of him saying he's FSG in, hold my hands up and I say I'm wrong, but I see the opposite. And that could be a really big problem. Maybe people think, well, he's not saying FSG in or out. Maybe that's why they think he's FSG in. Because if he was FSG out, why wouldn't he just say it? You know? Maybe he just doesn't want to say it, which is also very fair. I don't think it's that controversial. I don't think it's much of a controversial topic. A lot of people imply it, but I'm the same as you say. Until I see a definitive clip, I suppose I can't label him as that either. I still disagree with some of his points on FSG. And I suppose it's his points that make me think he's FSG in. Maybe he hasn't clarified if he's in or out, so we couldn't say it definitively. But you can try and assume, you know, based on what you know. But you could be right. He could be FSG out of the fucking gills off camera. James, have you seen some journos came out saying FSG are in growth mode? And their main interest are in that. Oh, fuck off. I don't want ownership who consider them in stages of puberty. I care about owners who are going to go out there and treat themselves like they're the owners of one of the biggest entities in the world. I don't give a fuck about growth stage. You know what I mean? I don't care. That involves a lot of problems, which I just don't want. James, what's your opinion in Klopp saying he will leave if he has a bad season? I never saw this. Chat, did Klopp actually say that? I couldn't imagine that's something that Klopp would say. Just cannot imagine it. Shout out to Craig Adams. Big up to you, sir. Really appreciate you becoming a member. And shout out to anybody who does become a member, you legends. Zuberi! Surprised you saying these positive thoughts after sitting there laughing while This Is Football embarrassed himself trying to disrespect me. Oh, Zuberi, so you've got a problem with me and my approach. You can come on stream if you've got a problem with it, sir. Esther Bede, looking forward to more content this season. James, big up to you. So, Zuberi, do you want to come on stream? before you start kicking off in the comments. Don't cry in the comments, Zuberi. Yeah. Do you want to? Are you still here? Let me know if you're still in the chat. I will send link into the chat for you, Zuberi. I'll give time just for you, because if you've got a problem, then just let me know what it is, because it's not that big of a deal. Surprised you saying these positive thoughts after sitting there laughing. That just sounds like that you're angry. So why are you rattled? Why are you rattled, G? Come on, my G. Let's be cool. No need to cry. Nah, Zuberi, you're my guy. What do you mean, lad? I don't want to upset you. I actually don't want to upset you, so let me get you in the stream and see what you're chatting. Zuberi is FSG in, guys, by the way, if you don't know. Little background behind Zuberi. I'm going to put the StreamYard link in the chat real quick. Just give me a second. Right. The StreamYard link is in the chat. I'm only getting Zuberi in, so if anybody else is hoping to come in and get on the stream, don't worry. Just keep enjoying. This is primarily to get Zuberi in the stream. So Zuberi, that's in the chat right now. So for those who don't know, Zuberi is FSG in. Let me read that super chat again. I appreciate the super chat, Zuberi. I just wish you were surprised you were saying all these things. None of them look like Zuberi. Yeah, that's Zuberi. That's Zuberi. Zuberi!
Yo, Wagwan, you hear me?
Going on, my G. Let me just, anyone who's thinking about joining, I'm sorry, yous, I'm going to have to kick yous out. I apologise. Or leave yourself so I don't have to ban yous, okay? So Uvraj, leave, please. Thank you, brother. I'll make sure to get everyone on at a different time. Let me just get the right screening for this, Zuberi. Right. Okay, my man, what's up? What's the issue? Let me make sure that I understand this super chat clearly first. Surprised you were saying these positive thoughts after sitting there while laughing that this is football. So you're talking about Usama embarrassed himself trying to disrespect me. So I was laughing at him disrespecting you, were you saying?
Yeah, I'm not hearing you well because my connection is kind of trash. I'm gonna be very honest. But are you hearing me well though?
Yes, I hear you fine.
Okay. Nah, so I don't want you to think like the super chat is a crying thing. First off, positive thoughts. Let's start with the super chat that you got right here. You're saying positive things, my guy. You know what I'm trying to say? So let's start with the positives, not too much negative. So everything you're saying before the super chat popped up, very positive. I like the message you're sending. I like your thumbnail as well, or not the thumbnail, but the headline of the show, FSG causing YouTube beef and stuff like that. I think it's funny and clever. Kudos on that. If you watch back, I don't know if you do watch back or stuff like that, but the super chat I sent in to the guy, bro, I support all YouTubers. I don't send super chat just to spew propaganda or narratives. So the super chat I send wasn't even disrespectful or of any way or shape or form there to cause any trouble. I just said, yo, have the same energy for Liverpool as your community. That's the basis of the super chat. That was literally the basis of the super chat I sent. Yeah, that I sent to This Is Football. All I said was have the same energy for Liverpool as your community. Literally, all I said. Yeah. If you now know that, watch that video back, you would realize he took that way out of context.
That's fair.
Way out of context, talking about FSG, Henry's not gonna let me shag him or his wife. Come on, man. I'm not even Muslim. That's haram. That's, bro, I'm not a degenerate. So for you to come at me with that disrespectful, degenerate talk, it's like, bro, do you even know who I am? You see what I'm saying? Like, we're fans. Yeah, but the thing that because you were sitting there laughing, it was kind of funny. I was also laughing, but the way he ended it, I was like, nah, bro, you started saying you're not going to disrespect me, you don't want beef. But you ended off by saying Henry doesn't want me to shag him or he's not going to let me shag Linda. Bro, why would I shag an ex-man's wife? That's disrespectful. Why you know what I'm trying to say? So I didn't like the way he ended it, but I respect you as an individual. I expect you to, you know what I'm trying to say, like calm him down because he did get carried away. So I'm expecting you to be like, yo, nah, man, I think he overreacted there. I think, you know what I'm saying? I'm just expecting you to hold him accountable if that's your boy. And you didn't. So I'm like, yo, I don't know the relationship you and him have. I just expected a man like you, I respect you, to just be like, yo, my man, way out of context, bro. But you was just laughing, so I don't know if you're in with it or not. So that's why I'm like, yo, it's kind of weird because I don't know where to place you. Because no one like that can talk crazy about somebody that I know or know of out of context. I'll pull them up like, bro, you're talking shit, man. Like, that's unnecessary.
May
What
I
I'm trying to
respond,
say.
sir?
So
May I respond?
that, yeah, go ahead.
Is that all right? Nah, listen, I wanted to make sure you got your full points out because I'm not one to interrupt people, and I think it's important that you get your view out because something has upset you or something has at least rubbed you the wrong way, which I think is fine. I'm glad that you came on to talk about it. And in terms of that, did you say that you were laughing as well at first? Zubairi?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm not really
Not a
hearing you
problem.
so well, you know.
Wait there, can you hear me fine? Chat, can you hear me fine? Is it maybe your connection?
No. It's 100% on my end.
Okay.
That's why I'm
Okay.
surprised you can even hear me well. Yeah, well, go ahead
If
now.
you want, okay. Can you hear me any better?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, just so the chat even understand as well. So Zubairi, listen, I don't know. I understand. I don't know what you was expecting me to do. I can't recall. I remember what you're talking about. I remember the super chat. Now, there's a few things that's important here, Zubairi, right? I don't know the context of yours and Husam's history. I don't know if you have done a show before. I don't know if you were previously a hater to Husam for him to respond this way. Okay. So first and foremost, the reason why at the end, I don't know if you expected me to say something to Husam. I thought maybe you guys had that banter. Zubairi, me and you, we have our own friendship on this channel, don't we? Me and you, I know you from this chat, and I know what me and you are like. I know the discussions we've had, correct?
Yeah.
So the point that I'm leading to is I don't know yours and his relationship. So for me to defend you, I didn't think I even needed to defend you. I didn't know you'd take offense to something like this. I thought maybe if you tune into Husam, you know what he's like. You know he's quite emotional. And maybe you just find that stuff funny. Now, if you found that to be disrespectful, I think it's important for yourself as well to raise that with Husam. I don't think it's for me to defend you. But if I felt there was something truly wrong at the time, and if I knew the context of yours and his friendship, then I would have interrupted and said something if I thought he was going out over the line. Because I've also made clear in this video specifically, I'm not about choosing sides on who this. I am on the side of who is right. If somebody is being bullied or mistreated, anything along those lines, then of course I'm going to defend the person who's now being backed up. The same way I have done with Husam today, because a lot of claims have gone out about him. So Zubairi, listen, said no way was I sitting there thinking, yeah, let's bully Zubairi. I don't know the context of yours and Husam's relationship on YouTube. Do you get what I'm saying? So at least I hope that addresses your point there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, your respect level went back up. Like I said, I wasn't depending on you to defend the thing. I literally just listened because you was on there. I'm like, rah, Redman again. Nah, I got to tune into my guy. You see what I'm trying to say? So it wasn't like I've always been over there. That might have been the first super chat I sent into the guy. So that's why I'm kind of like, yo, who is this guy? Does this guy know me? And he also makes some wild claims, say he could expose me. And I'm like, do I know this guy? Because I don't. I literally tuned in because you're on there. So
he might know you from, I don't know, do you do content?
Bro, I don't, bro. I started a channel because, I mean, we can talk about it offline, but I'm not in this YouTube thing. The reason why you guys are in it. Yes. I've been tuning into Redman TV for a couple of years. I had the opportunity to meet him in Boston and chose not to because I didn't feel like we quite connect. And then I saw you on it and I'm like, oh, right, okay. I like this guy. Then you started your channel. I'm like, yo, my guy. You know what I'm trying to say? I see your little post-match interviews and stuff like that. I'm like, nah, whoever this guy is, rate him. You know what I'm trying to say? So once you left Redman TV, fam, I left Redman TV. I don't know if you left still, but my assumption is you left. Once I didn't see you, I'm like, yeah, now I gotta get out of here. And I got out of there. So
Zubairi, that's why you're my guy. I was actually, do you know what, Zubairi? I proper care about you, you know, lad. You really support the stream. you see a vision with the channel. Anyone who backs me, I want them to see that same love and that same transparency with them. It's why when I saw you super chat, I wanted to just make sure we were cool, because I'm not here to call you out on camera or nothing. I know that you would have been fine discussing this. I saw you noticed it in the super chat, making it public anyway. And I'm glad we got to the bottom of it, like the way people should civilly discuss. Whatever issue you've got with Usama, I think that's important for you to raise with Usama, right?
Well, I hear what you're saying, and it's very positive, and I respect it. But it's not even an issue with the guy. Like I said, it was more like, yo, I thought, you know what I'm saying? I thought we in the Red Army together, man. So, like I said, your YouTube, this stream right here, people, make sure you smashing a like. Because I like what you're doing here, even right now. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about FSG stirring us up, and we should be together. You see what I'm trying to say? So I'm not here to defend the FSG in people. I'm already labeled the FSG in. No one seemed to care how I got to that route. So I just let it fly because it creates content, right? It creates good debates. You're saying, you know, FSG out. I'm saying, nah, let the men them fly, man. The men them are new. You're like, yo, we don't want no new guys stirring up this old giant. We want, you know, professionals doing this thing. So it just, it creates good conversation. It changes the narrative from the same old convo. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's kind of why I'm here. I'm here to, you know, stimulate the creativity of this space. I'm not here to create a channel or get famous from YouTube. Bro, I'm already successful.
Zubairi should make a channel for sure. I encourage you. I think you're good at what you do. I think even if you're thought-provoking, which is always good. And I think we need people like you on the platform, lad. It's why when you came on the channel, we had nearly a 40-minute discussion that I thought was really good. And we should try and find a way to maybe do a show separate or whatever. I want to get Uncle Albert into the stream too, which I think would be great. But Zubairi, I need to continue with the stream. Is there anything else you want to sign off with before I do that?
The only thing I would sign off with is whoever is watching this that have their own channel, whoever is watching this that wants to continue to support channel. It's not a hate thing and it's not a beef thing. We can always agree to disagree. We can always just, you know, never see eye to eye. But it doesn't have to take it outside the context of why we're here. We're here to talk about football. We're here to support Liverpool. If your channel is something other than that, then so be it. It's just all about support, man. We're supporters of a club. I'm supporters of YouTube channel. So if somebody sends you a super chat, just show the super chat some respect for what it is. You know what I'm trying to say? No one is obligated to send super chats. I mean, if the super chats is there chatting shit, you can be like, yo, not entertain this or entertain this in a different stream, or this isn't the video to address this. Just be respectful. You know what I'm trying to say? Nothing has to take it out of context. No one blood pressure has to go up. You know what I mean? No one has to stress, or like you said, cooking up beef. You know what I mean? So I'm not beefing with the guy. I just found it weird. My first super chat got that reception because I'm labeled FSG in, and he's theoretically fueling up the FSG outplay. So
I get what you're saying.
But I'll let you push on, man. Big up to you, bro. I'm not sure, man. You should be a politician because the way you answered this and got involved into this, thinking it was more than what it is. I appreciate it, man. Respect every time, bro.
Much love to you, brother. You have a good one, okay, Zubairi?
You too, James.
God bless, bro. God bless. Guys, I love Zubairi. Don't think that I don't love Zubairi. I love Zubairi. Zubairi's my guy, and I'm glad we could talk about that. See what happens when you get people just to discuss. The reason why I encouraged inviting him, because somebody even said, isn't this more for off-stream, James? It won't get uncomfortable like that with me, guys. It won't. I'm not saying that I never lose me thing, but let's stop being bitches. And this goes to all Liverpool YouTubers, including me, if I ever lose me rag. There's times where I get rattled. There's times where other people's get rattled, but it happens a lot more with other people than me. Let's stop being muppets. Let's just all enjoy the fact we watch a fucking sport. We enjoy it to a point where there's loads of things to talk about. We got a lot of endorphins from this, and that's important. That's good. Brings us together. You can be different culture, different race, different religion, but we're all together in football. Get Muslims, Christians, Buddhas all playing football. Get white, blacks, greens all playing football. You get Scousers, Manx, all this shit playing football. That's important. I'm sick of all this Twitter shit. So the purpose of this video was to demonstrate the way to agree or disagree with somebody. I'm not someone who sets the standard of how to debate. And I'm not someone who sets the standard of how to agree to disagree. But let's just not be a prick. Let's not take it too far. Let's not go to anything uncomfortable. And I think that's important. So that was the purpose of today's stream. if there is anyone, Twitter is toxic. Twitter's a fucking horrible place, my man. You know what I mean? Like, I swear to God. I actually like that your fact, the fact you're kind of based, James. Oh, mate, I haven't got enough energy to be all fuming about shit. You know what I mean? It's the owners getting to us all. This was another point that I wanted to extend on. I think it's important that we all notice that the owners are doing these things because they're not running the football club the way they should. And because of this, we're disagreeing on how the football club should be run. Some are saying trust them. And then some are saying, well, you're blind to trust such owners. They're a commercial set of owners, chat. That's why I don't like them. I've never liked them for that reason. It's not because they're American. It's not because where they're from. It's because of what they stand for. They want it to be advertisement. They signed a fucking thing with Pixel Google today. And whatever money we make off Google Pixel, where's that going to go? Where's the money from the Nike deal? Where's the money from Jordan Henderson and Fabinho, which is yet to have been spent? So that not hit the bank account yet, which is fair. Where's the countless of pennies that we've sold over the years? Where's the money generated through finishing in European places for the past couple of years? Where's the money for the cup wins? After we won the Premier League, we signed Harvey Elliott, Adrian and Sepp van der Berg. That's important. And then when people say, well, they're expanding the stadium by 6,000 seats, fantastic. Why are you inviting 6,000 more people to see a worse product? Because if you adding more seats now neglects your level of spending, the product is going to decrease. That's a problem. That's a fucking huge problem. And I don't like scandals ripping people off. and yes, there's loads of good things FSG do. Paul mentioned it earlier. People who are FSG out don't mention the good things. That's fine. But if a murderer goes into court and says, I've done this, that, and the other, the judge isn't going to say, well, you've done loads of good things. FSG literally tried to run us into a Super League. All they had to do was say no, and we wouldn't have had to go into a Super League. And only because there was heavy protest, they got out of the Super League. Only because there was heavy protest, they stopped increasing the ticket prices to £77 back in 2014. Only because of protest, they maintain the standards that we expect as a football club. The second we bend over and say, you do what you want, I trust you blindly, I don't like the future of that football club. You know what I'm saying, chat? That's the only reason why I talk about them in the way that I do. I can absolutely emphasize the good things that they've done. They have done. You know what I mean? Frantic fingers. I'm totally against FSG. We need these cowboys out. Facts. Facts. The money we generate is huge. So FSG, where's the money? We are hanging 5 million, blah, 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 blah. Craig, preach it, brother. Preach it, my son. Have FSG done everything they possibly could to make us as successful? If not, then that's the basic requirement of ownership. FSG failed the point. I agree. And this is why no one will ever change my mind on FSG. And if they are not the best that we can have, then we should not be accepting mediocrity as a football club. And the only reason why no one wanted to buy Liverpool in the duration where we were apparently up for sale, even though that was never true, but let's say we was up for sale, the reason why no one came in is because these bastards overly priced the club. That's why no one came in. You think no one out there is going to buy Liverpool Football Club? Guys, we're a project for them. We're getting ready. They're getting ready to make a plan on how they can maximize profits, which is why they're making the stadium bigger. They don't have a super long-term thing. They might get heavy investors in, and maybe that day we could see change in the football club. But right now, we're far from it, chat. Very far from it. And that's the biggest shame, is we're one of the biggest teams in the country. And we still have these issues, you know what I mean? It's wild. In fact, you know what? I want to shout out to Estob because I didn't read your super chats here. Looking forward to more content this season, James. Big up to you, my friend. More content will be seen. Of course, there's going to be a watch along for the Chelsea game as well, which will be awesome. We haven't gotten Lavia yet for more than 4 weeks now. James, do you think we can make top 4 without a DM? Much love from Nigerians. Big up my Nigerians. Big up my Nigerian brothers. I love every single one of you in Nigeria. Chat, let me know where yous are from. Let me know where yous are from. I want to see where yous are from. I love Nigerian. Nigerians are boss. In terms of Lavia, yeah, mate. Listen, I think we'd struggle getting top 4 without a DM. I think we'll struggle getting top 4 with a DM if we only add a DM. I still think we need a centre back and a defender. So let me know if you agree, Daniel. Let me know. James, can I come on? We're going to do another stream very soon in the next probably day or maybe even tomorrow. I'll get everyone invited where I get all you guys to come onto the stream as well. I think that'd be good. Ottawa, Canada. Ottawa, are you from Canada? Drunk Vigo, big up you, mate. Big up you, sir. You tune into loads of people as well, Drunk Vigo, your boss. Ireland, My G. Big up the Irish, yeah? Sweden. Leeds. Jeez. Chat, smash those likes as well. We've got mega people all over the world here. Formby. Yes, lads. It's like Callum. Fucking Formby. Fucking Formby, lad. That's a bougie gaff right there. Chelsea have bid for him a game over. Chelsea have bid for him game over. Chelsea haven't bid for him, have they? No, chat, you're lying. No, you're lying. No, you're lying. No, you're lying. When Mikey said it, now I believe it. Sorry, chat. Big up to South Africans. Big up Australians. Big up to Formby heads. I'm sorry, I need to. This is why I. Wait there, let me not flip first. Let me not flip. Nah, you're lying. You're actually lying. Nah. Where is it? Where's the news? Give me a source. There's no way that can be true. Antwerp. What do you mean, Antwerp? Oh, big up to Antwerp. Shout out to Lavia because he's from there. They have. Who's the source? Who's the fucking source? Chelsea have now bid for midfielder Romeo Lavia. This is the only reason why I hate them. If this is true, because all he is saying it, so if it's not true, I blame you. If this is true, if it isn't true, I blame you. I've warned this. I said it's a stupid game to play to try and save fucking pennies. If it means someone like Chelsea can go and watch previous videos, chat, go and watch them. Not sure on exact figures, but this one is closest to the club's valuation so far. Oh, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because people say to me, James, you need to calm down. Because your FSG is your personality. Big up to Panascouse as if you're from Anfield, lads. So it shouldn't be really surprising there. Just another day being a Liverpool fan. So yeah, if that's not an enlightenment, okay, so we're doing things off the pitch wrong. We're doing things on the pitch wrong. Some people don't like the manager. Some people don't like the way the manager's setting out. Some people don't like the players. Some people don't like the fact that Shkamatka's doing fuck all. Who employs all these people? And now they're adding 6,000 more seats to see a worse product. We've had Lavia in personal terms agreed for over 4 weeks. Over 4 weeks. 4 weeks. What? Oh, but it's all right, because we get the ball. Because they're sound like they're going to be doing decent. Oh, think about it. We were actually good a few years ago. You've got to trust FSG, because they know what they do. We've got Jurgen Klopp. No. And fuck Google Pixel as well. Fuck Google Pixel. Everything going on right now is just embarrassing. If we lose out on the Lavia deal, again, I don't know how reliable that source was that mentions about Lavia possibly being bid by Chelsea. However, this ownership needs to be sorted out. Otherwise, not only are we going to miss out on Mbappe, not only are we going to miss out on Jude Bellingham, we're now going to miss out on a 19-year-old midfielder who plays for Southampton, a 19-year-old who's just been relegated. We're now going to miss out on him. Possibly. Could be bullshit, could be smoke and mirrors. Wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea went in with such an offer. Lavia is held as one of the top prospects in the country. Whether you like him or you don't, whether you think he's too young or too old, one of the top prospects in the country. Really, really good. Really good. And yet we could miss out. And even if we don't end up missing out, the fact we even left that leeway there, how many more targets are we missing out on? How many more? If that's the approach that we take, then how many more targets are we missing out on? That's a huge problem. So if Chelsea do come in and they do get that deal done, when we've had personal terms agreed with the player, when the manager spoke to the player and had 4 weeks worth of conversations, and people still don't give in, if you're not listening to Gary Neville on this point, that's fine. If you're not listening to James Redmond on this point, that's actually more than fucking sound. Look for yourself and say to yourself, is this good enough? Is missing out on top targets good enough? Is finishing 5th good enough? Is this gradual decline, which has been the course of the last 3 seasons, injury-ridden seasons, yet we still won't accommodate squad depth? It's not excuses. It's not to sit there and say that, oh, Liverpool fans have it the worst in the Premier League. Of course not. But just because we haven't got the worst owners does not mean... People say to me, James, at least it's not Hicks and Gillette. At least it's not Hicks and Gillette. Imagine you going through a tough time in your life, and I said to you, well, at least it's not the toughest time. At least it's not the time when that family member passed away. So you're fine. Say, like, if your dog died or something, well, at least it's not as bad as when your mum died. It's like I'm still allowed to be very sad, and I'm still allowed to call out bullshit. It's a poor comparison. And people who do defend FSG give them no ammo to defend them with. Zero. Besides what Jurgen Klopp has done, besides the thing Jurgen Klopp has achieved with squads that he shouldn't have achieved it with. Wild to me. Shout out to Daniel for the super chat. Big up to you, sir. We haven't gotten Lavia yet for more than 4 weeks now. Oh, sorry, I read that one. It was actually Shane who sent a new super chat. Big up to you, sir. If we band together, we can get the Parasites owners a plane out of Liverpool, get out of our club. All it will take is 1 signing, 2 signings, and everyone's back on FSG. And people, you kind of really can't be on and off the fence here. And I mean, if FSG do 3, 4, 5 years of great things, and you see the ambitions there, and you see that they're making Liverpool a priority, if they're doing that, then that's when I can start to at least think about, like, okay, maybe they've changed the tune. But they've done one too many things for me to not trust them. And for those reasons, I do not want them at the football club. It really is as simple as that, chat. It's not an agenda. It's not for views. It's just the way it is. James just knows this happens. Chelsea news is true. They offer the full amount, and we do not have to pay in the fucking wages, but he chooses Chelsea. This could happen, though, Harris. That could actually happen. It really, really could happen. I really hope it doesn't happen, because I actually have built up the idea of enjoying Lavia as a Liverpool player. I think he'd be quality. It's not just because I want us to get a signing for the signing's sake. I actually really rate Lavia. Chat, do you rate Lavia? Are you starting to rate Lavia the more you research on him and the more you look up on him? You can never know for sure, but I think he's a good option out of all the options that are there. Did not think that this is where we'd be facts, bro. Started with 35 million for McAllister, then came with an RKO out of nowhere signing in Sobersley. And then now here we are, struggling for a 19-year-old who's just being relegated. Big up to Sam. We have Tyler Morton. Don't worry, sweet cheeks. Hey. Love Tyler Morton. Cool dude, Tyler Morton. As a footballer, I don't know if he's ready to step on that pitch as a first teamer. That's just my opinion. Drunk Vigo, come on. Drunk Vigo, come on. The show, James. Make it happen, baby. Jeez. Drunk Vigo, you need to come on the show. You know, I need to know that voice at least. Chelsea have made a 40... Oh, fuck off, David Ornstein. You're fucking lying. You're fucking lying. £48 million bid. No. Don't do this. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Oh, fuck off. Oh, fuck off. And what you want, these owners? These are the owners that you want. What did I say, chat? What did I say? And you said I was ludicrous. What did you say? Or what did I say? I said, this can open the door for Chelsea to come in. W or L, if you recall me saying this. I want to make sure that we all heard it. I want to make sure that I'm not just inserting things. W or L, you heard James say that this was a possibility. If FSG continue to stall this deal, I'm not saying I told you it and you didn't know about it prior. I just want to make sure you've got the reference. I said it, and I'm seeing nothing but W's. Chat, this is why I love yous. I love the honesty. So anyone who thinks, oh, James, you're just saying you said that, check the live chat. We have got hundreds of eyewitness testimonies at the moment. Nearly as many as the Bible. That's a lie. Chelsea have just submitted a formal bid to Southampton for Romeo Lavia worth £48 million. Negotiations ongoing between clubs as Liverpool's last proposal was £45 million and rejected. This is what I'm saying. Now we're about to miss out, possibly, on another target. Because all that has to happen right now is Southampton say yes. Once they say yes, Chelsea have free reign to go and discuss with Lavia. Free reign. Bear in mind their financial spending in recent times. Bear in mind. So it's fine if you don't want Lavia. That's fine. If you, as Tom, the Liverpool fan watching at home, shout out to you, Tom. If you don't want Lavia because he's young and you don't think he's good enough, that's fine. But that's not the way you should be looking at this. The way you should be looking at this is that is another priority target of the manager that has been swooped away because we weren't willing to spend the money. Because we weren't willing to spend the money, make sure that you'll... Oh, yeah, Antu Shemani was another one. Thank you for whoever just mentioned that. You guys need to see this. Even if you're FSG in, I just need you to understand that. Don't think like, oh, we're going to go and get someone better. If we were going to get someone better, why did not we get them before Lavia? Why was Lavia the priority target if there was someone better out there? There's already a problem. So we're either missing out on a priority target or we went for option B opposed to option A originally. So let's say if we were looking at Barella, just as an example, and then we chose Lavia because he's cheaper. That's not good. And the same with the way it is now. I can't believe this, chat. They've actually bid for him. Ornstein's tweeting it. Friggin' Fabrizio Romano's tweeting it. Everyone's fucking tweeting it. This is bullshit. Chelsea have offered 47 million. This is the second bid. That's wild. That is wild. Rubber and Ipswich, it's official. Liverpool are in the banter era again. And the thing is, the last time we were in a heavy banter era, the YouTube football scene weren't huge. Our gradual progression came throughout the time. I don't know, mate. I'm not enjoying this chat, but I've warned you. And listen, now we've got to learn to enjoy it because a lot of people became satisfactory with this ownership. They became satisfactory with this ownership, which is why we are where we are right now. And people will continue to fall for the cycle after the Super League. As long as I apologise, you'll eventually forgive me. After the Super League, as long as I sign friggin' Thiago and Jota and Szoboszlai, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Because fans are consumers. They're like anybody else. Just give them something new to play with and boom, here's my money. Give me season tickets to a worse product. Give me kits that's not going into the product on the pitch. Get Nike sponsorships because of the fact that you've got such global notoriety. And not spend that on the team, not help the manager. They're not the worst owners in the world, but they're putting a fucking good argument for being the worst owners in the Premier League. If that minimises opportunities for me, fine. I'm too emotional. If I'm wrong on something, I'm willing to listen to somebody. But there's a lot of things that are on the surface that I don't need to be happy about. Does that make FSG inners understand a little bit more? Lavia and Chelsea, Lukeba close to Leipzig. We have left to Lukeba would have been a good one as well. Even if we are on a budget, we are quickly running out of quality in the market for our budget. That's right. That is right. Stephen, not everybody has the money to buy us, James. We are talking billions. That is right. Why are we overvalued? Who sets the valuation? FSG. That's why they set us at a valuation that was not realistic. It was just a ploy. It was just a fucking ploy. There would be owners out there that would be willing to buy us for the right price. FSG have a right to ask for their price. But in the process of them asking for their price, they're going to drive down the fucking value of this football club and the history of this football club and the standards of this football club fucking dramatically. The same way that if I told you 12 months ago we were going to get Europa League in 12 months' time, you'd laugh in my face and call me negative. 12 months later, oh, it's fine. Jurgen Klopp's never won a Europa League. Therefore, it's another chapter of the story. I hate the PR. I hate that market and I hate that way of thinking. Why would you want to win the championship if you've won the Premier League? Why do we want to win the Europa League if we won the Champions League? Why don't we try and win the Champions League again? We have lost a lot of finals. How about we try and win some more? Let's get some more finals. Let's win these finals. Let's increase the standards. Because these owners are just making us a marketing choice. That's why we can get high sponsorships with Google Pixel and all these things. And we can stay in top four because nobody's going to stop being a fan. And what generates a lot of Liverpool's money is these sponsorship deals and all these kit sales and the ticket revenue. In comparison to what all that stuff makes, the money that you make from everything else is minimal. In comparison to what all that stuff makes, it's minimal, chat. It's absolutely minimal. We need to recognize the problem collectively as a fan base. Don't think that I'm just speaking because I want to speak nonsense. I'm trying to address all areas why FSG are not good. Doesn't mean you don't talk about the good things that they've done. You can talk about it, but it's pointless. It's pointless. There's no defense. If you talk about the good things, you can talk about the good things just in hypothetical. Doesn't take away the bad things. This is bullshit, chat. Like Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed that Chelsea have gone in for a bit. Nah, I actually care about football too much, I'm realising it right now. I care about football too much. I actually care about football too much. And look how blurry I am. I've just came back like I don't exist. Come on. Come on. Get back in my face. Get back in my do. Get back in my face. Get back in my do. Right, chat. I'm going to need to leave and come back in 1 second. Right. Let me just read these super chats and then we'll get back into the comments. Will Robbo says, no Lavia, no party. I agree. Shout out to El Emirati. He says, Yanks will never understand how important football success is to us. FSG do not care about sporting achievements. They are focused on profits. If we lose the Lavia deal to Chelsea, I am done. Well, guess what? It's looking very, very likely because all Chelsea need to do now, all that needs to happen, Southampton need to say yes. And then when they say yes, they just need to offer Lavia a lot of money. And I think they can probably convince him to come. They've got a great manager in Mauricio Pochettino. Whether you think he's a good manager or not, players rate him as a great manager. I rate him as a great manager. And if that project is more enticing than this project, what this negotiation phase has caused is an opportunity for Chelsea to come and swoop in that deal. Do you know, like the way we were buzzing when we swooped in on Gakpo and we swooped in on Diaz for Tottenham? That is exactly what's happened to us right now. So what we did to Tottenham, that's exactly what is happening to us from a team who isn't even in a European competition. And yet we're just going to sit there willy-nilly and accept it. Come on, chat. This is bullshit. And it's getting out of hand now. Really, really is. This is getting out of hand. Even if Lavia does, and imagine this as well, if Lavia joins Chelsea and then scores against us, the owners have done that. If that happens, the owners have caused that. Lavia is a good midfielder going forward as well, so don't get it twisted. That's a possibility. Like, honestly, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. This is wild to me. James, do you think United will end up with Sheikh Jassim? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I'm not too sure. I hope you don't. I hope you don't. James, are you going to start protest when you go to games because we need the scumbags out of the club? I don't really know how to start protest, mate. I know, I come on the platform and I've done this for over 2 years and spoken about my opinions on FSG on one of the bigger YouTube platforms on YouTube. I know that there is other channels bigger than me. I'm not trying to say I'm the biggest. I'm saying I'm a okay sized platform. I've spoke about this on various platforms, big platforms. I think that's more than what a lot of people have done. Like, I'm not trying to say that I'm a lead way, but it's impossible to start a protest to be big and effective enough when people aren't going to turn up, no matter what you do. So James can start protests all he wants. If you don't want FSG out, then why are you going to come to an FSG out protest? And it's like saying, I want a six-pack, but I like Domino's. So it's like, okay, if you keep eating Domino's, then you don't really want a six-pack because your want for the Domino's outweighs the want for the six-pack. So you could want a six-pack, but you love your Domino's a little bit more. The same way people want FSG out and they want boss owners, but they're not willing to go through what gets them the good owners. So I think, okay, then what can I do to at least try and give people a different insight on FSG? Okay, let me go on a platform and talk about them. And let me break down my points and let me even invite people who disagree with me. Let them ask the same questions that some of you guys might want to ask me at home. Like, say if I'm talking about something and there's a point that I've missed and you're like, James, you've missed the point. That's why I want you guys to come into the stream and hold me accountable. Plain and simple. But if we don't do that, then everyone just starts getting deluded. So listen, as much as I'd love to start doing FSG out protests and I'd get involved with them for sure, not enough people want it. So doesn't matter if James wants to or not, James. Doesn't matter if you're not the biggest of platforms. You entertain people. Big up, mate. Big up yourself as well, sir. Big up yourself as well. Have you noticed our 2 signings have been triggering a release clause rather than negotiations? Cha-ching! When we tried to negotiate signings, nothing happened. Behind the scene, there is something wrong. Our negotiations right now are borderline embarrassing. Almost pathetic. To many degrees. And the fact that we could lose Lavia is wild. If we lost 50 Chelsea... Wait there. If we bid 50, Chelsea have the funds to just throw more than 50 at Lavia. This is a foot. Oh my goodness, chat. No, you need to understand this point. Sorry, I know I keep shouting. I sometimes do get a little bit thingy. I'm working on being calm. Leave me alone. If we even now bid 50 million, bear in mind, Southampton wanted 50 million. Now they might have something better. They might have a bidding war. We might now have to pay 52 or 53 million. We might now have to pay 55 or 56 million. Why? Because we didn't want to pay 50. Chelsea have just went in with a 48 million pounds offer. Our last bid was 45 million pounds. Okay, then so if we now pay the 50, The £50 million price Southampton want isn't a release clause. So there's nothing to trigger. That was just what they was asking for. So now someone can come in and bid 51 million, 52, and now we're in a bidding war. That's not good. And it's definitely not good when it's against some fucking huge dudes in America who's way bigger than FSG financially, quite fucking clearly. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. The incompetence on FSG strikes again. It absolutely strikes again. We're a laughing stock. You're right there, Sean. We are a fucking laughing stock. Go and buy a chomp with this, lad. Ed's gone. Scouser's oil, I'm going to go and buy a chomp, lad. I'm going to go and buy a chomp. Chat. I can't believe it. Why not FSG outsigns like Arsenal did with Wenger? Remember when we brought the 6 balloons to Old Trafford, go in big numbers? Again, more people need to align with it, man. That's why I rate Usama for actually going out there and, you know, putting banners over the stadium. Carragher said Klopp is now running recruitment with his with his retired mate. This may be why the negotiation's so bad in public now compared to how it was before. And that's a problem from FSG because they've made that problem. If Klopp was doing fine just as the coach, why are you now making him the guy who has to negotiate deals? Go and get somebody who's an expert at negotiations. When you look at Jurgen Klopp, does that look like a guy who's been through, lawyer degrees and all these things, and he knows how to negotiate? You don't think you can employ someone more qualified than Klopp to negotiate? Because now all that's going to cause is it's going to take away from Klopp's man management. It's going to take away from his coaching, making the on-the-pitch stuff even worse. And now you're putting him in an area that he doesn't specialise in. And you could easily employ someone that does specialise in that area. So people will now perceive this as, oh, now we've got to blame Klopp. Because look, James, if this is true, what Carragher says, he has more control. He has control over recruitment. Yeah, that's only as of from the summer onwards. He still didn't have recruitment last season or the season before and the season before. When someone was competent enough to recruit well, Jurgen Klopp maximised the results. That was when Edwards was in charge. He maximised them. From 2016 onwards to 2021, Edwards did fantastic and Klopp made the most out of what Edwards got. But the resources became less and less. Edwards said, no, I'm going to go. Edwards' understudy then said, I'm going to go. And now the conclusion is, okay, let's make a coach, a man manager, some random fellow from Germany, a negotiator for the team. No. That's not the way that it should be run. Not when football is so overly saturated nowadays. You can do it with Sir Alex Ferguson back in the day where there was less requirements and all these things. And, you know, Man United had the pulling power. It was either United or nobody, you know what I mean, at certain points. This is a huge problem if it is true. I don't know if it is. I don't think it is true. If it is true, then that's a problem. That's a huge, huge issue. But guys, 750 people, smash those likes because this has been an insane stream. I hope that you have enjoyed it and I hope that you have noticed that I've been as balanced as I possibly can be throughout this whole stream. I hope you've noticed that I haven't taken any sides and I don't want to inflate beef. Don't let FSG divide this club. If I can say anything, whether we're first, if we're fifth, or if we're in the championship, don't let the title of this video remain to be true. FSG causing YouTube beef. Don't let it cause beef in general. Agree to disagree, but don't let it divide the fan base. That's one thing we cannot do. We have to recognise together, okay, they're not doing the most they possibly can. In or out. Let's even forget labels. We know right now they're not doing good enough. There's a minority of people who are saying FSG are doing more than they need to. It's a huge majority, but let's not let it divide us the same way it has today with many content creators, undoubtedly causing a little bit of, you know, separation behind the scenes. I'm not down with this, so let's not cause more shit. Let's recognise them for what they are, and let's get this football club back to where it needs to be, which is back at the tippity fucking top, you know what I mean, chat? That's where we deserve to be. That's the size of our football club. They're the standards that we should maintain. If you don't want to take James's word for it, then how about you take the words of my good old friend? I'm not even going to call him my good old friend. That's too disrespectful. A legend, a true legend, Bill Shankly. Let him tell you the standards of this football club. Let him tell you what he thinks of finishing second. Let Bob Paisley tell you what he thinks of finishing second. Let Kenny Dalglish tell you what he thinks of finishing second. So fine, don't listen to James. I actually encourage you. If James Redmond is your only source, you've got a problem. A huge one at that. But I do believe that you need to start listening to people who actually set the foundations of this football club instead of supporting a bunch of people who are trying to turn us into an advertisement company opposed to a football team. What happened to the profits this year and every year? They don't exist, Joe. This YouTube stream has actually made more profit than FSG, apparently. So, yeah, mate, I have no idea. But I appreciate that super chat. James, don't forget, Chelsea are getting investigated right now on FFP. They might be. They fully might be. Great. Fantastic. We are far from getting investigated. Like, we don't even get speculated. Like, nah, Liverpool defo don't do anything wrong. Are you onto that? Like, you can probably think someone's doing something wrong and then maybe they're not. People don't even they're not even skeptical of us. They don't even care. It's wild. But anyway, guys, I am going to have to go. I've got a few things that I need to do. Please smash a like on your way out and please leave a spam of comments once this video is done. Just leave anything. I'll make sure to like them all. Not the live chat. When the video's done, go in the comment section and leave a little comment as well. Smash those likes. I'd love to see us on at least 400, 300 round there. So let's get them up before we go. But guys, much love to you and your mothers. Big up to everyone who super chatted today as well. And yeah, guys, I will see you soon. Don't let them separate us, okay? It's all love. We can all have discussion and all that good stuff. Peace out.